Life is too expensive.
Somebody, please make life less expensive. I'll pay you $5. Seriously, you just watched the neighbor give their teenager a Prius for their birthday, the one who goes to private school. Your best friend just got home from a 2-week-long family vacation in Hawaii with snorkeling, and you're over here just trying to time bills to paychecks. Like, what gives? Sometimes it truly just feels like there's not enough money to make ends meet. My husband and I experienced this feeling real deep when we found out we were expecting our first baby a year, maybe 2, earlier than we planned. And when I say planned, I really mean we didn't plan. Not one bit, actually, like at all. And yet, overnight, we got literally $1,000+ worth of new expenses added to our lives. Childcare, diapers, new clothes and gear and gadgets for a creature who's eternally changing size and capabilities. Like one day we were comfortable and had all we needed, and then the next we woke up broke. But the child was still on the way. Couldn't slow that down or put a pause on the process. We just had to act and figure out how to stretch what we had to accommodate what we needed, ideally with minimal pain. And what I would have told you was impossible ended up being quite possible. Not because we got new jobs or made more money or got a random windfall from an old great aunt we'd never heard of, but because we did what YNAB does best, took some time to breathe and reassessed our priorities. So, if you're feeling a little bit in the same boat right now, here are 4 steps I'd recommend to you to stretch your dollars and get those strong, confident financial feet back under you. First, give your spending plan a fresh start. Literally, it's a function in our app. Now, YNAB is designed to be flexible. Couldn't we just tweak some targets and shift some money assignments around and voila or something? Maybe, but I found it really hard to loosen my grip on the current plan when I was looking right at it. After years of dropping $150 in auto repairs every month, how am I supposed to change that and feel good about it? Wouldn't changing that be irresponsible? Everything seems necessary and nothing feels worth reconsidering. But cue the fresh start. A fresh start will make a new copy of your current spending plan, but unassign all your dollars so you can reassign them through the eyes of your new priorities. And if you're really feeling in a financial bind, I would even go as far to say delete your targets on all your non-negotiable categories as well so you can reevaluate them too. And with all those old target amounts and dollar assignments out of both sight and mind, it was so much easier to take a step back, take a deep breath, and ask ourselves, what plan would we design right now based on our current circumstances? That's when I might finally find the space to realize, yes, being prepared for car emergencies is important, but also very important is being able to hire someone to watch our child while we go to work each day. Suddenly, it makes a little more sense to set a new target of $75 for car repairs so I can have $75 more a month to put toward the childcare we'll need to start paying. It gave me a fresh opportunity to reconsider if my dollars were actually reflecting both our needs and our priorities. Sometimes a fresh start can also help you find money you didn't realize was just kind of hanging around. I'll admit, when we get a paycheck, we tend to just use auto-assign to distribute it out to all our different categories, which made it easy to miss the fact that I had some categories I'd been funding every month to pay for a domain and a hosting platform for a blog I never got off the ground, not even close. Priority of the blog? Clearly 0. Priority of raising a happy, secure child? Through the roof. Number 1, star of the show. That made it a no-brainer. Remove these targets, hide these categories for now, maybe one day, and put that money where it's actually needed. Secondly, organize your new plan from highest to lowest priority. I have a whole video from way too many years ago on the number of different ways you can organize your spending plan. By theme, by frequency, by this, by that, and all of those different organizational structures absolutely have a time and place. But if you're in a season where money is tight, organizing your expenses from highest to lowest priority is key. It's usually pretty obvious which categories should live at the top of your budget. The things that keep you alive, food, gas to get to work, and the things you'll get in trouble for not paying. The mortgage payment, utilities, loan payments, you get it. Fund these before anything else. But from here, the amounts, the order, it is all up to you how you slot in those other expenses. If you've got a house full of gremlins, it might be household goods and childcare. Feeding the pet is pretty important. You might move move on to funding some true expenses, car repair, home repair. So when hard times hit, you're at least a little more prepared than you would have been without them. Or honestly, if it's just a little money to keep you from going insane, a little bit of fun money, a small budget for eating out, more power to you. And these are great conversations to work through with a partner, as we don't always have the same priorities person to person, even in a close and committed relationship. Make sure both partners are getting a chance to speak their needs and organize the spending plan in a way that brings you both security and joy. Third, whenever you spend, find the money first. Old us, we just went out and spent money, and as long as the bank account never hit zero, we were technically fine, right? That was stressful, and there is a much better way: finding the money first. This means before we go out and spend, we check YNAB first to see what we have available. You see your groceries category only has $23 in it. Maybe in the 1700s, okay, but not right now. $23 is not gonna cut it. So instead of overspending the category or just not spending at all, you move money from somewhere else into this category first before making the purchase. A little from gas and a little from entertainment, and now you've gotten your grocery category up to a much more doable $75 before even so much as a clove of garlic hits your cart. Don't underestimate the importance of this step. If I just started shopping without checking the category first, you can bet I'm gonna fill up my cart however I want, even if they're all good things, and be rudely awakened when the cashier says that'll be $165, please. Finding the money first helps me decide now what I'm gonna have a little less of this month so I can have a little more groceries now, on top of being more in tune with what my grocery limit actually is for this shopping trip. A super basic trick I've found that helps me is not just saying, do I really need this thing right now? Because hello, I can always justify getting a nice new shiny thing. Come on, give me a challenge. But instead, telling myself, hey, Hannah, you can always get this next time. The first, at least to me, feels restrictive and boringly responsible, while the other feels a little more exciting and hopeful. I can have that thing I want right now one day, it's just not the best idea right now. It's not that day yet. Fourth, never categorize a transaction to the stuff I forgot to budget for category. I'll be honest, this is a tip I have not historically followed, but let me tell you why it's important. We can't anticipate every single expense that will ever come our way. That's why we create the stuff I forgot to budget for category in the first place. We call ours miscellaneous and drop $100 in it every month. But this category is a tool, not a solution. Whenever that surprise expense comes up that we just don't know where to put, instead of slotting it into miscellaneous or stuff I forgot to budget for, where you will inevitably forget to prepare for that thing yet again by the next time it rolls around, give that expense its own category. If it's a car registration fee that snuck up on you, or like young me didn't even know existed before my parents handed over the car insurance to young 20-something Hannah, create a car registration category instead, moving some of your stuff I forgot to budget for money there and categorize it there. Tool, not solution. Aha, now we get it. While you're at it, set that yearly target for the same amount. Plus, unfortunately, probably a little inflation. Exciting times. And next year, you'll know exactly where to categorize that transaction and have the money for it. Now, not only are you prepared for that expense, but you also have a much clearer picture of what your true expenses really are. Imagine a school fees category where you can buy school supplies and school pictures and finally not feel like you're having to pull that magical money out of thin air every fall. Or a birthday party category for each kid, so you're not having to categorize the cake to groceries and the party hats to clothing and the party favors to hospitality. If it's a real expense, give it a real place in your spending plan. Trust me, your future self will love you for it. The more you know what your money is actually going to, the more clarity you can have about how far it truly stretches and what else you can accomplish with it. With these 4 tips, believe it or not, we were able to carve out all the money we needed to bring our son into our lives. I genuinely could not have imagined it, but we really did it. And if I'm being really, truly 100% honest, do I feel like my life has changed financially since then? No, actually, weirdly, not at all. I don't feel more restricted or less secure or like we're barely making ends meet. Somehow it all just kind of feels the same. Could these 4 tips help you stretch those dollars a little further than you thought? Or if you've been in this situation before, what was it that helped you make ends meet when you thought, surely we can't? Please share any thoughts or tips in the comments down below. I wish you the best in stretching your dollars to accomplish whatever you need them to, and I will see you in the next one. I would even go as far to say delete your targets on all your non-negotiable... Okay, we're gonna have the best time today. Ready to have the best time? Plus, unfortunately, I got it. I wasn't expecting to do that. That's okay. We're having a good time. It is a privilege and an honor and...